Machiavelli wouldn't last 5 minutes on Twitter. Not because he would be cancelled, but because you would never see him coming in the first place. He would lurk, not post. He would watch your every move, not broadcast his lunch. In a world addicted to performance, Machiavelli would be busy rewriting the script backstage. Quietly, modern power rewards the loud. Influencers trumpet opinions. CEOs live stream strategy. Politicians take selfies with the very systems they claim to dismantle. Meanwhile, the real control lies with those who say nothing, post nothing, and appear to have no agenda at all. The less you show, the more they assume. And assumption, as any manipulator knows, is the leash you use to walk a person straight off a cliff. Invisibility is not about hiding in fear. It is about choosing when to be seen and why. The man who speaks last controls the room. The one who smiles without comment forces others to fill in the silence, often with their own insecurities. Be vague, be unreadable. Let them draw conclusions, and you can draw their strings. Machiavelli understood that a prince must always seem noble, even when acting ruthlessly. So let others think you are resting while you are rebuilding. Let them see the mask, not the machinery. Visibility invites attack. Mystery breeds obsession. You do not need to impress. You do not even need to be known. You need only to be remembered. Not by your words, but by the consequences of your moves. The paradox is simple. Disappear and you become unforgettable. Charm is often mistaken for kindness. That is exactly why it works. In Machiavelli's world, and in ours, truth rarely wins hearts. Perception does. Appear warm, smile on cue, compliment your rival's taste in words while quietly stealing their influence. Charm is not about sincerity. It is about leverage. To disarm someone, you do not need a sword. A joke will do. So will a well-timed compliment. People lower their guard for those they feel seen by. If they like you, they stop watching you. That is the opening. Walk through it quietly. Machiavelli knew that most people care more about how something feels than whether it is real. A false sense of safety is often more effective than open intimidation. He would not waste time trying to prove he was trustworthy. He would simply act like someone who could be trusted. And in that gap between illusion and reality, he would operate freely. Today, likability has become a currency. Politicians rehearse empathy. Corporations fake humility. Leaders learn charisma like stage actors. But Machiavelli would go further. He would turn charm into camouflage. Be so pleasant that no one suspects the hand moving the pieces behind the curtain. If truth gets in the way, leave it. What matters is belief. And belief in the hands of a skilled manipulator is more powerful than any fact. So play the part. Be warm. Be funny. Be forgettable in just the right way. Then take what you came for. Predictability is a luxury for the powerless. If they always know what you are going to do, they will find a way to beat you. Machiavelli would never be consistent, at least not in any way you could rely on. One day polite, the next detached. One moment generous, the next inscrutable. Not because he was unstable, but because you were meant to feel that way. Confusion breeds focus. Focus breeds obsession. And obsession creates a power imbalance. When people cannot define you, they study you. Every word is overanalyzed. Every silence interpreted. You stop being a person. You become a puzzle. And puzzles are hard to ignore. Most people try to be understood. They clarify, they explain, they apologize. Machiavelli would do the opposite. He would let the mystery grow. Let the silence sit. Let the questions remain unanswered. He would smile when asked what he meant. He would dodge the direct question. He would give you just enough to chase never enough to catch. In this way, you stay in control of the tempo. They lean in while you lean back. They need to know more, so they follow. They seek certainty, so they hand you influence in the hope you will end the ambiguity. But you never do. Instead, you let the ambiguity work for you. It becomes the hook, the trap, the tension that never resolves. And in that tension, you rule. The modern world rewards visibility, but Machiavelli would exploit that urge by doing the opposite. He would give the illusion of transparency while protecting the machinery. Let them see the output, never the input. Let them see the face, never the hands behind it. Everyone today is told to build in public, share the process, post the milestones, broadcast the grind. But the moment they know how you move, they begin preparing to stop you. They copy, they counter, they sabotage. Machiavelli would stay quiet. He would play slow until it suited him to strike fast. He would appear ordinary until the extraordinary was already complete. The surprise would be part of the plan. Never reveal your strategies, never explain your systems, and above all, never tell them what you are building until you already built it. Your silence becomes a weapon. While they gossip, you advance. While they prepare, it's already too late. You pass them not with noise, but with momentum they never saw coming. Control what they see. Guard what you do. Let them think you are drifting while you quietly redraw the map. Machiavelli didn't need to conquer people. He made them dependent. He would help them, support them, give them answers they couldn't get anywhere else. Not to be liked, but to be needed. That is how he'd win. You solve their problem. You fix what others neglect. You provide clarity where others bring confusion. And over time, without saying a word, they start leaning on you. They begin to rely on your presence, on your insight, on your calm. They make decisions with your imagined approval in mind. And that's when the real move begins. Because just when they feel safest, you disappear. Not in anger, not in bitterness, just gone. The absence is the blow. They don't collapse because you attack them, they collapse because they cannot find their footing without you. They don't hate you. They hate how much they need you. And in that void you leave behind, they replay your every word. They obsess over your silence. They try to replicate your presence but never quite succeed. That is not influence, that is architecture. A psychological architecture they inhabit even after you've left. Machiavelli never held the knife. He handed it to others. In every betrayal, every removal, every calculated move, he positioned himself just out of reach. The decision looked spontaneous. The damage looked deserved. And he looked blameless. Modern manipulators copy this perfectly. They don't cancel you. They whisper until others do. They don't fire you. They plant the doubt and let the meeting happen without them. Because if you're seen as the villain, people resist. But if you're just the one who happens to benefit from the chaos, they follow you instead. He knew people want clean stories. So he let others write messy ones. He never demanded loyalty. He engineered situations where disloyalty collapsed on its own. You don't call for someone to be removed. You let them trip over their own ego. You don't ignite conflict. You feed both sides and step away before the flame catches. The result? You rise without force. You win without noise. You become the inevitable alternative, not the aggressor, but the one left standing. That is the final trick. Power that feels accidental, earned by the vacuum left by others. You didn't push them. They fell. And now the room turns to you, not because you schemed, but because you endured.